This is the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abish, founder of Abish Financial Services.
A lot of firms out there say they will do tax planning, say they will do Social Security planning and RMD planning, and typically they just do investment management. They want your money.
You've worked hard your whole life to earn and save. Now you need a plan to make that money work hard for you.
Where do you stand today with your retirement accounts, with your insurance, with Social Security, RMDs, taxes, all of it? This is how we need to think. We need to think outside of the box on these matters.
Abe is here to help you unlock the keys to your retirement.
Abe, a BlackRock survey shows that an overwhelming majority, 89% of 401k savers, wish they had an annuity option in their savings plan. So BlackRock's Ann Ackerley says that's understandable.
Workers start to get closer to retirement and, heightened also with the pandemic. They're worried about outliving their savings.
3/4 of those respondents who've already retired say having guaranteed income has made a bigger difference than they thought it would. Unfortunately, most 401k plans still don't offer an annuity option, though. But there are ways that we can set this up on our own, aren't there?
We can, Heather. Yeah. And, in that article, it said 89% of workers saving for retirement in their own 401k plans want options for generating income in retirement.
Yeah.
And 76% of those people surveyed in that article, Heather, say having secure income in retirement for those people that are already retired. Having secure income in retirement is making a bigger difference than they thought it would.
Sure.
Why? Because there are so many stresses, right, in this world. But if you're not stressing about money, if you're not stressing about your income in retirement, and you can go about doing all the things you want to do in retirement, and you're not worrying about money, you're not worrying about if and when that paycheck's going to come in the mailbox in the next 2 weeks, but instead it is, and it's automatic and predictable and dependable, then, hey, that can take a lot of stress out of the equation. And there's even been studies done, Heather, that have been proven that people live longer that have the most secure incomes,
Really?
guaranteed incomes that they can't outlive. Yeah. So we just had a couple call into our show. They live in Sterling, Virginia, and they're just a classic couple that we meet with over and over 4, 5, 6 times a day. They are in their mid-60s. They live in Sterling, Virginia, in Loudoun County. They've saved about $1.2 million. They've done a good job of saving, and they wanted to come in because, as most people want to know when they come in, is can I retire? If I can, when can I retire?
Right.
And can I retire comfortably? And can you run the numbers so that if I'm 90 years old and still living, do I still have money, right? Can I still live, or is all my money gone? And so those are some of the biggest things that people want to know when they come in and they take advantage of our Where Do I Stand plan, that compass check on their entire retirement plan. But one of the most important things that someone can do when they're approaching retirement and headed just into retirement is figuring out their income.
Got
right?
it.
Knowing that they have enough income, Heather, that can last them the rest of their life, no matter how long they live, adjusted for inflation and according to their risk tolerance. So here were some of this couple's problems.
Okay.
When they first came to us, Heather, everything was invested in their 401ks and then cash.
Okay.
So they wanted to kind of be middle of the road, like a 50-50 split between growth and income, or, money's at risk versus monies that are safer. And so they didn't know what to do other than investing in their 401ks and then having IRAs that just had cash in them. So we said, wait a minute, that's not the best combination of investments. In the whole investment world, we can do a little bit better than that, right? So they didn't know what to do for safety. And there's really not a lot out there in the investment universe that is giving people yields and interest and growth in between what cash, bonds, and treasuries are doing and stocks.
Okay.
Right? Like the last decade, the stock market's been on a rocket ship.
Right.
So straight up almost, and here over the last couple of weeks this summer, it's been a little bumpy, but, everyone
still good.
Pretty much. Yeah. Everyone pretty much thought that was going to happen. I mean, again, we've been on a rocket ship the last decade. Things got to correct and come down and kind of get back to normal. But there's not a lot out there that kind of offers a pre-retiree or retiree returns, yield, interest, kind of in between something that's super safe, maybe like cash in the bank, and then stocks. So they were looking for some middle ground solutions, middle ground strategies, Heather, that they could implement in their plan. And, we say this on the show a lot, Heather, that dead money, let's get that dead money off the sidelines, working a lot harder for you. Well, 50% of their 1.2 million was essentially dead. All right. So we made some recommendations there to get that dead money off the sidelines, get it out of cash. We can't have our retirement dollars in cash, right? We're negative. If so, with inflation factored in and taxes, we're going to have a negative return if so. So we recommended a split of both in the market strategies and out of the market strategies. Our team of advisors, of investment advisors made recommendations on the market strategies. We made recommendations on the out-of-market strategies to give them a very good split between growth and income or risk and safety, getting that dead money off the sideline. And here's what we did, Heather, probably one of the most important things for them when they came in and left is that we showed them how they could replace their paychecks in retirement. We showed them how they could retire now, how much income out of their paychecks, working paychecks, would be replaced. And that gave them so much confidence when they left their office. They knew they can retire. They knew they could replace their paychecks and retire now. Can you get any better news than that?
I don't think for a lot of us that we could ask for anything more than that. I mean, is that not the bottom line when it comes to our retirement years? The thing that stresses us out the most is how are we going to continue to pay for our lives, but being able to work out a plan that shows us how we can essentially, as you said, replace our paycheck from our working years into our retirement years. I mean, that is a game changer. And that's what Abe and his team want to show you. Figuring out an income plan for your retirement years is, of course, the goal that we all have. And keeping on this subject of our 401ks, these plans, Abe, they're great. However, the Motley Fool says they often have a major downside, which is high fees. So the question for you is, how do I know if I'm paying more than I should be?
Yeah, Heather, you wouldn't unless you actually got a compass check, unless you actually got your 401k analyzed and assessed. And one of the ways we do that for our clients, Heather, is we simply use investment and risk analysis software. It's called Riskalyze. There are many different software pieces out there, but one of the ones that we use specifically is called Riskalyze. It gives our clients a speed limit between 1 and 100 as to how fast they're going down, let's call it the financial highway, right? Are you going 1? Is your money dead and really going backwards? Or are you going 100? Do you have, a bunch of Lamborghinis in your investment portfolio, right? Are you going so fast that a crash could kill you? A huge loss in the market could essentially kill your portfolio or crush it right before retirement or into retirement. So, getting an analysis done, getting a 401k x-ray, getting a 401k portfolio analysis specific to your plan. It might be the TSP. It might be your 401k, right? A 403b. Get that done. All the plans are kind of similar, but each plan is different, and each plan has different funds inside the plan. And so we want to know what we're paying in fees. In that article, Heather, it says that the average national 401k fee or cost is almost 0.5%, almost 0.5%. The TSP is, most of those funds are about 40 basis points or about 40% of 1%.
Right.
Either way, there's a cost associated there, and fees are like termites. And they can slowly but surely eat into the foundation of those 401k plans, just like they could eat into the foundation of your siding of your home or foundation of your home. So we had a gentleman call in from Middleburg, Virginia, and he has a 401k. He has some IRAs. He and his wife live in Middleburg. They're in their early 70s. They're working with a big box firm, but they also have a 401k with about $1 million in it, and then about $1.5 million outside of his 401k for a total of about $2.5 million.
Wow, good for them.
Here was his problem, or this couple's problem. One of the problems was that the fees inside his specific plan were almost near 1%. Almost near 1%, right? And then in his plan, he only had about 10 to 15 fund options to choose from. Much of these funds were like target date life cycle funds, which we believe we call them couch potato funds. Heather, they're kind of lazy. If you're a couch potato, you're probably not up to too much good. You're kind of just lazy and laying around.
Well, a lot of these funds are lazy.
Yeah. Hey, I like popcorn and everything too, but a lot of times 40 and 50% of these these funds are in fixed income, and fixed income right now, if you're holding it long term, it stinks. The yields are low. And if 50% of our 401ks are in asset classes that are only yielding 1 to 3%, that's not going to do too much for us, right?
Right.
So we ran a Riskalyze report, a 401k x-ray. We gave him a compass check on his fund expenses, on the pros and cons, the highs and the lows, and we showed him exactly how he was investing, the positive and negatives, and then we ended up making recommendations. But the only way you know where you stand is by actually getting those statements and portfolios analyzed, right? So I really recommend taking advantage of specifically a 401k or TSP or 403b x-ray on exactly what you have.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abish. To learn more about Abish Financial Services, visit retirementkeyradio.com and join Abe for his radio show, The Retirement Key, Saturdays at 2 p.m. on WMAL.
Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Abraham Abish is licensed in your state, please call 571-577-9968. Abish Financial Services is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Abraham Abish, NPM number 770-3575.